Hi, my name is Jay Oza, and I want to talk about the power of speaking. We always hear that speaking is power, and I agree. But what people don't ever tell you is what are the powers of speaking? I've done quite a bit of research, and from my experience, I believe there are five powers of speaking. Now, each one are fairly powerful, but if you can combine all of them, then you are going to give a really an inspirational speech. And it could be, one on one in a small group or in front of a large audience. The size of the audience doesn't really matter. It's combination of all these five powers. So let me tell you what these five powers are, and then I'll go into each one specifically and provide some examples. So the first one is the power of presence. Just you being there gives you the power. The second one is the power of voice. Voice is something that gives you command and control. You get power by the way you use your voice. So you have the power of using your voice. The third one is the power of the message. The message is so dominating that it gives you the power. The fourth one is the power of experience. The way you give your speech with information, entertainment, stories, humor, you're creating that full, rich experience that people just viscerally feel like, wow, that was something. And the fifth one is the power of change. Can you make somebody change with your speech? So let's go into each one in a little bit more detail. So the first one is the power of the presence. This is just that you being there gives you the power. And sometimes that alone can dominate your speech. Just you being there. A good example of this is a speech that we had reviewed on our show Speech Talk Live. Is when Steve Jobs gives his last speech where he appears before front of the Cupertino Township Council meeting. And you can see that he is frail. Obviously, he was dying of cancer. But his presence was just so dominating. He's not his usual self, him giving that terrific speech. He's hardly even audible at times, but he's just so powerful with his presence there. You can sense it. The crowd can sense it, the council people can sense it, and if you watch it in a video, you can sense it. And I have included the video, and you can take a look at it. That's what I call power of presence, because he has nothing else there. There's no real message there. There's no real. His voice isn't really that strong. The experience isn't that great, and there was nothing that changed because the council were going to vote for it anyway. This was just him going there to make sure that he's respecting the council, and his presence enabled that to happen. The second one is the power of voice. When you're giving a speech, the only real weapon you really have is your voice. That's what people are going to hear. Yeah, you got gestures and all kinds of stuff, but the voice has to dominate, and how you use it, how you modulate it, really can give you power, can give you command and control. A good example of this comes from 1980 and Ronald Reagan. The scene is that he has paid for some sort of a debate in New Hampshire. And during the debate, the moderator is trying to shut off his microphone. And for a while, Reagan is kind of going along with it, doesn't know what's happening. Then he realizes, wait a second, this is my event. And he grabs the phone and he speaks angrily and said, "I am paying for this microphone, Mr. Green." And the audience just goes crazy. I believe that one incident helped him become the president. It showed that he's in command and he's in control and he cannot be pushed around. Power of voice. Nobody did it better than Ronald Reagan in this example. And I'm going to include the link and you can determine it for yourself. The third one is the power of the message. The message is so powerful that gives you the power. Now, there are a lot of examples here. The three famous examples that I can think of where the message was so dominating was Patrick Henry when he gave his "Give Me Liberty" or "Give Me Death" speech that basically helped America gain independence from Great Britain or United Kingdom. The second one was Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, redefined the nation. It freed the slaves. And the third one was, of course, Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream," which again redefined the nation and helped bring civil rights to America. The power of the message. There cannot be any speech that had a more dominating message than those three speeches. The fourth power is the power of experience. Have you ever been in a speech where you just felt like, wow, that was an amazing experience? I don't remember any speech where I can say that. It's hard. Power of experience is not that easy. You gotta have a lot of talent to create that experience in a speech. A good example of this is when Bill Clinton gives his nominating speech at the 2012 Democratic Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, where he's nominating Barack Obama to be the next president. It was supposed to be like 25 minute speech. He turns it into a 45 to a 50-minute speech. And you can see that he's got the audience completely under his control. And the experience that he creates with his examples and the stories and the way he's speaking, it is just a tour de force performance. And I believe if you want to see a speech that exemplifies what a power of experience is, watch this speech from end to end. And I bet you will agree with me that this was an amazing experience if you were live in the audience listening to that speech. The fifth one is kind of interesting, the power of change. Now, I didn't want to use an example here like the "Give Me Liberty, Give Me Death" is a power of change, but those are big change. I want to focus on a small change, on an individual change. And a good example of this comes from a journalist in America named Megyn Kelly. One time I was watching her show, and she had on her show Dr. Phil, who's like the male Oprah here in the United States. And she told him that one time she saw him speaking, and he said something that the difference between you and someone that you envy is that you settle for less. Wow! You know what she told him? That when she heard that, it got her to think that that's what she's been doing all her life. She's been settling for less. And she was working as a law clerk, I believe. She said, after hearing that, I quit my job, I dumped my husband, she became a journalist, and she married a new man. That is a major change. I'm not sure if anybody out there can say something like that, and I'll dump my wife and run off to some place. I'm not sure I can do that. But that's what she said. Individually, she essentially changed her life, and she keeps giving this example over and over again. So I have to use it here because it directly affected her. And so the power of change is really, really something special. In your speech, you have to see whether there is anything in that speech you are giving will make somebody, not a change like drastically like that, like, you know, selling their house or moving somewhere or divorcing their husband or wife. I mean, that's a major change. I'm not sure who does that. But can you make somebody make that change with the power of your speech? So, speaking is power. But there are five powers. And when you're giving a speech, ask yourself, which power are you trying to use here? Is it one? Is it two? Is it three? Is it four? Or is it all five? Is it power of presence? Is it the power of voice? Is it the power of the message? Is it the power of the experience? Or is it the power of change? Power of speaking. Think about it, use it, and let me know what you think. Thank you.